What is going on, YouTube? Zero Lead here, back again with a new video, episode 35 of the Disco Era U.S.S. Enterprise tutorial. Just want to thank you very much for tuning in to today's video. And if you haven't, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and helping me in supporting the channel. I definitely appreciate that. And today we've got a little bit of work to do on our upper hull. We're getting some more work done. We're going to try to get a little bit more detail in on the curve of the upper part of the saucer. Now, to do this, you're basically going to want to do is type in, I believe it's 67 width and 67 height. If your pixel circle generator, says go on Google and type in pixel circle generator and put in number 67 for the width and height. And excuse me, from this, right after this gray line here, going around your current ring, essentially just going to count out to 10. And that's where we're going to start our circle from. So count that out: 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, 10. On the 10th one, we got our dividers there just as temporary spaces. We're going to count out on this side also. We're going to do this on 3 sides because the back side is actually covered, so we won't be able to do that side. And let's get the right side done. I'm going to count all the way out to 10. And this should be pretty cool. Like I said, the way I have my curve on my upper section of the saucer is a little bit different what other people usually do. I think this is, honestly, in my opinion, the way to go, without having to make it to a point where your curve leading up to your bridge is like 12 stories high, just like to get it to pull off that same thing that we're going to do. We're just pretty much making it like 1 high, 2 high. It's really not, the incline really isn't going to be that high at all. But between the full concrete blocks and the half slabs, it's going to make it look higher than it actually is. So it'll work out by the time it's done. And I've talked about this before. When you're doing your pixel circle generator, technically all you have to do is take down, if you cut your circle into 4 pieces, you only need like the upper left hand corner, upper right hand corner, and you're just going to repeat that process 3 more times. And if you do one thing on the left, go ahead and do it on the right. So this way, not only are you doing 2 things at once, but you're also just staying consistent so you don't make any mistakes. And you can see here I'm jumping back and forth between all 3 sides on this one. And the reason I'm doing it this way is because this is a much smaller circle, a lot less likely to make a mistake. So I'm just kind of running with it. I'm just kind of zooming out to make sure I didn't have any errors there. And we're just going to move right along. We're almost there. And we're looking pretty good. So now you can see where our curve is going to actually start from. Because I'm sure you're probably thinking in the last video that this, right here isn't enough. And you're absolutely right, it's not. This was just really the groundwork, and then we were testing out in the front to see how we can do the lights. But the lights are going to be moved out far in the front where we're adding this other curve. Because like I said, on the front of the Enterprise, right in front of the registration, it like dips down and it has like a panel. It almost looks like vents, but they're actually lighting. But we'll definitely get to that in, I think, episode 36. If it's not episode 36, it's episode 37. We're definitely going to be doing that really soon. I'm pretty excited about that because I really like how the upper section of this ship came out. I mean, even everything on the ship, I think this time around came out the best because this Enterprise has the benefit of me building other Constitution classes on 3 other occasions. So I've got out of doing any other starship, I've got the most experience with this one. So I'd say that the detailing in this one is probably hands down come out the most accurate, and it looks the best, I think. Now you can see behind our gray line now, I'm just doing a single line of quartz full blocks all the way around. I'm just doing this to give a little bit of texture and also a divider line. Eventually, we're going to fill all this in. See, I haven't quite finished my circle yet. I still have I have little spaces in between there where like my hull lines are. We're going to fill that in right now. In fact, might as well do the other sides while we're at it. Just get it out of the way. And now we're going to get rid of that gray line. So I'm thinking that maybe I've just made it one too big. Let's just go one smaller, because we're going to end up replacing this with half slabs, pretty much. This line anyway. Looking pretty good so far. Got one last corner section to do. Need to knock this out so we can close all of this in and fill it in. We're definitely making some progress here. I'm just continuing on with my pattern. All right. Looking pretty good on the left side. Now let's do the same thing on the right side. Now you can see that I slightly adjusted mine because I think somewhere, somehow, my math was wrong on this circle. At each quarter point, I think there was like 5 individual slants. On mine, you can see at each one I've only got 2. So if you're having problems doing your ring, when you get to that cross point, if you started it at the same point where I did, where you counted out 10, you should only be able to do 2 here anyway, so you should be fine. At this point, I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to blend all this in, but I think the way to go is once we fill this in, we're going to have like a border line with the gray going around here to differentiate the two, and also bring out the hull plating lines a little bit more, kind of how we have here. Looks like I made a tiny error there, so I want to make sure that's right. All right, we're looking good. See, again, that's why the best thing to do is sometimes after you do something, just zoom out and take a look at it, go over your work, double check it, and make sure that there aren't any errors in it. Because the sooner you catch it, the less of a pain in the butt it's going to be to fix it. Now you can see I'm adding my half slabs on the top here. This I'm pretty much messing around. I'm only going up. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So I'm pretty much trying to make my area where our vents are going to be for our lighting. The rest of them going around will be actually, I'll go one down and I'll actually be closer on the decking. But I'm not even set on this yet. We're kind of just messing around with it to get an idea of what we want to do. But we'll uh, we'll see where we land in the next 2 episodes. I know that we'll definitely finalize it. It didn't take me long to design it at all. I didn't have nearly as much problems as I did with the area behind the bridge. In fact, I didn't have any problems with it at all. I think I spent just a little bit of time on the last episode trying to figure out how I was going to do it. And you can see right there we messed with a little bit more, and then we're going to go back and actually complete it, and then we'll make one minor adjustment to it, and then that'll be it. Now you can see I'm just adding the half slabs down on the decking. We're doing this all the way around. So this way we can give the illusion that there's more of a curve. And see, and this is where I was talking about where you can get away with having one block high and then um, tapering, well, blending that in with half slabs going all the way around. And you can still at that point convey the same curvature that you would see on the top of the saucer with only one block high. Because it looks pretty good. Once it doesn't look like much now, but once we fill all of it in, that's when it's really all going to come together. But we're getting there. I think I'm doing a pretty good job so far being descriptive on this episode in particular. But for whatever reason, if you do happen to get stuck, let me know. I'll try to do what I can to help you out in the comments section. If I don't answer your question in the comments section, I'll usually answer it in the video. And definitely have some cool stuff coming up for our tutorial series. We have a lot more to do on this Enterprise. We still haven't even gotten to the inside of it yet, and we're just now scratching the surface of our detailing. So there's definitely way more to come on the Disco Era Enterprise, but there's going to be some other cool stuff coming up in the future as well. I'm going to be doing a tutorial either on Voyager or the Enterprise D, trying to figure out which direction I want to go. So I know for a fact I want to do both those ships, hands down. They're going to happen. I just haven't decided which one I'm going to do first. Um, might do Voyager. I don't know because that's kind of a smaller ship. I feel like the Enterprise D is going to end up being a much longer build series like the Disco era because it's going to end up being bigger than the Disco Enterprise. It's going to be the biggest ship I've ever done. But Voyager is going to be a little bit smaller scale, kind of like the Kelvin, I think. So it wouldn't take nearly as long to build it. But we'll see where we land. I've been having a lot of great feedback so far. Been having a ton of people uh, making suggestions. I had somebody make a suggestion for the Prometheus, I think it was from Voyager. That was a pretty cool ship. And I even had somebody suggest doing the Enterprise E. Um, I don't know where. I think at some point or another, I think it's just going to be inevitable that I'm probably going to end up doing a tutorial on every single Enterprise, with the exception maybe of the B or the C. Those have actually been the only two that I haven't been asked to do, but every single other enterprise I've been asked to do at least once. So I think it's probably going to be inevitable that I do tutorials for those. It's just going to be a question of when, but I wouldn't say it would be too long because of the fact that I am trying to put out videos every single day with the exception of Sunday. I want to keep this going past the Disco Era Enterprise, so definitely keep a lookout for that. But as we get towards the end of the Enterprise A or the Disco Era Enterprise, um, I'll have more information on what's going to be coming next, and I'm going to try to slip in another smaller build in between there, which could very well end up being Voyager because I did the Borg cube, but that actually didn't take hardly any time at all to do. I thought it was going to take a lot longer than it ended up taking with that series because I've recorded like 6 episodes for it. But when I actually did the commentary for it, I think yeah, I did all of it in just one go, and yeah, I mean that's had a little bit. It's had some views, not as much as some of my other ships, because I noticed like after I get the videos up, usually after a couple weeks, then they start getting some traction. But yeah, I mean, if there's any ships that you guys want to see me build, definitely sound off in the comment section below. That's what I was trying to get at. Sorry about that long rant, but just trying to be talkative and go over some stuff here. It's very exciting. We got a lot of stuff to that's going to be coming here in the future. But I want to jump back into what I got going on here. You can see that I'm basically just working on the housing for like this grid paneling, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stop this video because I think it's going to be important here to do a refresher, go back and show you guys again specifically what we're working on at this point. Because we're essentially working on this whole part right here. This whole curve is what we've been pretty much building over the last 2 episodes. But right now we're trying to make this part right here. And if you look at it, yeah, like right now, like it's definitely lit up, but it definitely has like event feel to it. But definitely like the way that it dips in there. Um, it wasn't super easy to come up with the solution for that, but I think all things considered, where I ended up on, we were pretty good. Anyway, I just wanted to again show that picture, and if you don't recall, just do a search for the Eagle Moss Enterprise. The best thing to do on these builds is to get as many screenshots as the model as you can, because the 3D renderings are going to vary depending on which artist did them. That's the only thing I don't really care for with the new era Trek, is that all the ships are digital, so somewhere there's a problem with continuity. So you can see I'm just trying to change this up a little bit. I'm trying to cover these black blocks with carpeting because I just want to see how it looks. I don't think this is what I'm going to settle on though. This is kind of an experiment to see what looks good. But I'm pretty sure after this change that we make, uh, that's going to be what I settle on. So it wasn't too much. Nonetheless, just a little bit of work. And I mean, at the same time, this can maybe give you an idea of how to do your ship a little bit differently. And one of the things we're going to have to do is add in some lines here, single blocks, to make the actual panel lights look a little bit better. Let's get a block there in the middle. Perfect. And definitely need those divider lines, I think. But right now, let's fill this in, I think. Normally I would do this off camera, but this is such a small area that I'm just going to do this in real time. We're just going to go left to right and bang all this out. Not a super long video today. I think we're at just over a half hour, and we're already rocking and rolling. We got about 23 minutes left in the build, and we're already getting stuff done. You can see the stuff, the hull lines. I'm just directly building over them. I mean, you could, if you really wanted to, you could delete the layer that's directly underneath this, but there's really no point in doing it, so I'm just covering it up. We're bringing this all the way in, as far back as we can, until we get to our next curve, and then we're going to blend that in a little bit better. That doesn't look too bad. That looks pretty good. We got to fix this in the front from our test from the last video. We're kind of messing with how the lighting was going to be. Since we're going to be having the lighting out over here, we're going to have to obviously replace that, but we'll get into that. Right now, we just want to worry about filling in the rest of this. But I'm pretty excited so you guys can actually see how I do this. I actually tried to go back in my old tutorial series, and anybody that um, was asking about additional building details, I've definitely been referring them to this tutorial series because I'm a pretty firm believer that at this point you can convert this version of the Enterprise into obviously it's already the Discovery era Enterprise, but if you really wanted to change it a little bit more to make it look like the actual Shatner TOS Enterprise, you could without too much editing, and you could even make the Constitution refit from the Shatner era with minimal refitting. You pretty much would just have to refit the deflector dish and the engines and change some outside detailing. But other than that, the physical changes you really wouldn't have to change too much on it. So, I mean, this tutorial series, what I'm getting at, you could pretty much apply this almost to any Constitution class, with the exception of the 2009 Enterprise for the most part, and definitely the Star Trek Beyond Enterprise A. Kind of wouldn't apply to this because the back end of it is completely different. All right, and we got a couple more layers to fill in. We're making progress here, almost done. One more on this side. And we gotta just do the left side of it, but so far we're looking good. Just want to zoom out and take a look at our slant here. I mean, it's definitely got the lines that we want. Definitely has the right curve going. All right, so now we're gonna do the same thing on this side. We're just gonna fill all this in so that we can work on our detailing a little bit more. Oh, I went a little bit too high there. Let's fix that real quick. All right, now we're rocking and rolling. We're looking pretty good. But yeah, no, anyway, I'm definitely glad that you guys are enjoying this tutorial series. But there's definitely still some more stuff to come. I think, like I've been alluding to, my goal is to do tutorials for ships other than just the Enterprise. But again, I feel it that it's going to be coming that at one point or another, I'm going to be doing the Enterprise D pretty soon. I think the Enterprise E is going to happen. I don't know if I'll do the Enterprise J, but I've had some people asking for it. Um, but then there's definitely some other ships I want to do. Voyager's on that list. Another ship I was thinking about doing, but I want to wait to watch the show first. Was from Star Trek Lower Decks. That ship just looks so different. Um, and it doesn't look like it would be a super difficult build to do, but nonetheless, it was still from the TNG era, and I've never done any ships from that era before, which is kind of why I'm wanting to jump into Voyager and the Enterprise D, just so I can do something from around that time. And if Lower Decks ends up being a good show, don't be surprised if you see a ship tutorial for that one. But we're just gonna wait and see what happens. Definitely looking pretty good here, though. You see, I'm making progress here. Got think like 2 more rows left. One more. All right. It's looking pretty good. Definitely not done, but we're looking pretty good. Let's delete this row of half slabs, I think. Well, you know what? Let's go. We could go up one. Just add another row of half slabs. You know what? Let's just bring this all the way down. We're just going to add in an extra row or half slabs on this cut going all the way around and see how that looks. Didn't look bad in that little stretch that we did, but we're going to do half this dish and then see how it looks. On the straightaway here, we got to get our half slabs going in. We're going to have to redo that straightaway line with the gray on the edges. We got to bring our hull lines from an angle now on this extra layer that we have. So we got some stuff to do. Still have about 15 minutes left in this build, or in this video, I should say. Now you can see I'm changing them back to what I had before because I don't know. There's something about that what I have going on there doesn't have like the right curve. Sometimes the only way to look at it is just to build it out and then see what you did, and then if you don't like it, go back and change it. Got a piece of glass there. We're going to fill that in. We got some work to do in the front here because we got to get rid of this glass. We want to continue on with our pattern of our half slabs and that cut. Oh, okay. Looking good. You can see pretty much everything in the front that we did in the previous video to test out our lighting. We're just going to get rid of that. We'll replace it here in just a second. Let's worry about deleting all this stuff first. Also just being careful, making sure that we're not deleting the wrong blocks. We have walkways and stuff directly underneath us we have to be conscious about. Alright, now we're going to start to rebuild this out a little bit. See, I'm going with the full blocks on the bottom of this gray panel here. And then we're going to go half slabs on top of that. Now you can see I'm using this full block to make it look like there's more of a slant. We're going to have to shave off some areas there, but I'm just trying to get an idea to see if that's going to work. I don't know. Let's move on to our hull lines. We'll mess with the center curve a little bit later. Hasn't defeated us, but again, if you're getting to a point that it's not coming out exactly how you want, best thing you can do is just move on to something else, different area of the ship. So this way it doesn't frustrate you in any way. Let's just continue on these hull lines. I don't think we're going to bring it up to the next curve. We're going to stop it here, I think. Because on this panel here, I don't think there's any hull lines on the model. Could be wrong, but I don't think that they're there, so we're not going to put them on. That might change in the future, but you never know. Oh, gotta get our half slabs in. And let's move on to the left side of the ship on angles that we just cut out. We're just going to get our half slabs in. There we go. And that right there is how you solve a problem. That little corner right there. We're going to do that over on this side too. Bam, right there. So you get the gradual decline that goes along with the pattern. Alright, so now we're just going to take off a cut of each side that's surrounding our half slabs. We're going to be replacing that with a darker gray to bring out our hull paneling. And when this is done, it's definitely going to make the ship look like $1,000,000. It's going to bring out the hull paneling a little bit more, make this build look more like a spaceship, which is definitely what we want. Oh, mess that up. Get rid of that. Perfect. We gotta do the straightaway hull line. We have this one and then one more. I actually got two more, or one more right there. Gotta get that one. And this white quartz, let's replace that with dark gray. All right. That looks pretty good. Definitely making some progress. I mean, we should have some progress done being 35 episodes in, but I mean, again, that's just what it's taken to do all this in real time, to describe in detail exactly what you guys need to do in the process to build this thing out from beginning to end. Fortunately, there's no just easy solution to it. It takes time and a lot of work. But definitely like where we're going. Yeah, that didn't look right. We had to replace those two blocks. Excuse me. Definitely looking better now. Good news is that we're not going to have to use a pixel circle generator again. Not until we do another build that's going to require it. But finally reached the point where, again, the fruits of our labor is paying off. We're detailing our ship pretty much. And you might think that this is a lot of work to go through, but again, these little nods to attention to detail here is what's going to make your ship stand out and help make it come to life. We're going to do this line going along, I think. Yeah, I think that would look pretty good. That's maybe what's missing here. Oh, let's fix that. We got one last section to go on this detail line. We're going to check this out, see how it looks. Oh, I deleted a panel. I have to fix that. Half slab. All right. I have to bring that gray line back going along here just to make it go with the hull line. Sure. There we go. Let's fill that in. Go over and up along with the cut. Again, we're just basically following along with our curtain pattern. Now let's take a look at that. Yeah, that's money right there. You can already see that. See, just that gray line right there really brings out the ship and those hull panel lines. And you know, you really think about it, this line right here, this slope, I mean, it's only a couple blocks high. It's not very high at all. And I've seen other people where they do this, and it's like 10 blocks high. They got a skyscraper on top of their saucer. Just too much. We're gonna have to work on blending it in that second um, arch up, but we're definitely getting there. So step in the right direction, which is all we need. Because again, sometimes all you need is a base to go off of, and then you can mold it into getting it to a spot where it looks how you want it to. But I think that's going to wrap it up for us today. Got a lot done. Still a million and one things left to do on this enterprise, but we'll get there. But I just want to thank you again for tuning into today's episode. And if you haven't, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and helping me in supporting the channel. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. And all the comments and love that I get regarding it definitely gives me more motivation to keep these tutorials coming. And just want to thank you guys again. And don't forget to check back tomorrow for episode 36. In fact, you can always check out new episodes on this channel Monday through Saturday. The only day I don't have new episodes is on Sundays. Well, anyway, that's going to wrap it up for me, and I hope everybody has a happy and safe day, and I'll catch you on the next episode.